Hi, my name is Gina Conley, and I will be explaining homosexuality in Japan. So first, we're going to start off with shunga, which is erotic art. The definition of shunga is a picture of spring. Spring is also a euphemism for sex. I found that it is popular among those who belong to the higher class in Japan. Most shunga was created by Aoki. Its artist produced paintings in the woodblock print form, which was flourished from the 17th to the 19th century. This art could portray a scene from nature to two people in a sexual act. There were two kinds of art shunga that I focused on: ancient homoerotic religious art dating back from the Heian 794 to 1185, and the Kamakura period, which was 1185 to 1333, when Japan was under a lot of Buddhist influence. Buddhist monasteries had become renowned sites for homosexual love, in which older priests called ninja would establish bonds of friendship and love with the child called an akote or chigo. There's even a famous script dated back from 1321 called the Chigo Notebook that shows a relationship between an old ninja and his young akote. And I focus on the Tokugawa period, which was 1603 to 1867, which was a lot of relationships between samurais and young boys of samurai descent. And they would become, before they were coming of age, these relationships were celebrated in works of art and fiction. There was a general acceptance of sexual relationships between samurai and these young boys. Another example of homosexuality in Japanese past was the kabuki actors. Kabuki is a Japanese performance arts beginning in 1603 and is still practiced today. In 1629, until women were banned from the theater and placed by young boys who were dressed and painted like females, and this was some of the earliest homosexual art in Japan, performance art. And also, I'd like to talk about samurais. They were celebrated for dressing in femininely and wearing makeup, and the relationship between wakashus and samurai were fairly common. Since a samurai trained his wakashu to become a samurai, usually finishing their training about age 23. This homosexual relationship also fulfilled an education function similar to the student-teacher relationship in Buddhist tradition, but these relationships exceeded just samurais during the time. I have a quote here about, as male love became more popular among the noble classes and spread among the merchants and commoners, as well as the authors conclude that the 17th and 18th century Japan was the golden age of homosexuality. Next, I'd like to talk about sexuality and religion. Religion and sexuality have always been intertwined. Religion influences society's view of sexuality and reflects relationships people have, such as the Buddhist monks and their homosexual relations with chigos. Their relationships was based on student-teacher, not sexual. From what I found, Buddhism practices non-attachment relationship in order to become awakened. Before Westernization, there was no such thing as gay relationships. These practices between men were accepted as part of a young man's life. The main religions that I found in Japan were Shinto and Buddhism. Another thing I found really interesting about homosexuality in Japan was the lack of knowledge about lesbianism. From what I found, there seems to be minimal history of lesbians in Japan. It seems their existence was mostly ignored by society, focusing mostly on male homosexuality. It seems that women's sexuality has been ignored. Often, if a lesbian couple was shown in media, it was hypersexualized or for a man's enjoyment. Marriage between women was not recognized. Gay marriage is not recognized in Japan. Thus not existing to the general public. The Kasoki system in Japan's family registry, introduced to Japan in 1871 to today, all households must report births, adoptions, deaths, marriages, and divorces. Japanese culture is not an I, but a we. Having different sexuality can be selfish. There is an overwhelming desire to create an impression of harmony through consensus through sameness within Japanese society, keeping homosexual relationship quite easier than disrupting the harmony. If two females that were seen together in a relationship in the past, it was considered spiritual rather than sexual. Female sexuality took its place in the long continuum of sentiments to women, including consideration, kindness, affection. These expectations led women to be less likely to share their sexuality because it's not part of their duty. And here I have some current laws in which Japan follows. You can see that homosexuality is legal, but marriage is not recognized. The public opinion, most people are for it. Gay marriage, 78%, but a lot of people don't identify or are scared to admit that they identify as gay. Sorry. And then I have the Toshiya, which is taken up by citizens in campaigning for gay rights. It has been a big movement in giving a voice to LGBT community. In the 1970s, Toshiya was taken up by citizen groups campaigning for right of self-determination for the parties concerned, and facing discrimination has become a central concept for all minority self-advocacy groups. So that has been a big impact. And LGBTQ in Japan today, gay marriage was only illegal from 1873 to 1881, but gay marriage is still not recognized. Like it is here in the States, Japanese people feel that flaunting one's sexuality is selfish, so people running around in rainbow might not be very common. But in cities like Tokyo, the LGBT community is thriving. In the Shinjuku district, there are 300 gay bars. From the articles I read, the Japanese are accepting of the LGBT community. People feel safe in Japan, being themselves. Social issues within the society are changing, and the LGBTQ voice is becoming a lot louder. And I would like to end with a note of Japan having a fair amount of homosexuality sexual history. It was not until the Westernization did the ideals of heterosexuality relationship become the main focus of Japanese culture. So colonization did affect how they see homosexuality and gay marriage. Yeah, thank you for letting me present. Have a wonderful day.